Jason Miller never expected his life to take such a bizarre turn. A young astronaut from Earth, he had been selected to be part of the first ever intergalactic mission. The mission? To explore an uncharted planet that scientists on Earth had recently discovered. The planet, Eloria, was said to be rich in resources and possibly inhabited by intelligent life. Jason was eager to be a part of history. But the moment his spaceship hit turbulence in Eloria's atmosphere, things went horribly wrong. The ship crash landed in the middle of nowhere on an alien planet. Jason was the only survivor. The landscape was unlike anything he'd ever seen: purple skies, towering crystal mountains, and strange glowing plants. His oxygen supply was limited, his radio damaged. Alone and stranded, he knew his chances of survival were slim. Little did he know that the biggest problem wasn't the alien environment, it was the aliens themselves. Jason wandered the strange world for days, gathering food and water from the alien plants and streams. As he grew weaker, he began to notice something peculiar. He wasn't alone. One evening, while resting in a cave, a group of alien women approached him. They were tall, slender, with shimmering blue skin and eyes that glowed a deep violet. Their beauty was mesmerizing, but their behavior was unsettling. They stared at him like he was some kind of rare artifact, whispering among themselves in a language he couldn't understand. "Who are you?" Jason asked, but they only smiled. Soon, one of them stepped forward. Her name was Lyra. She spoke through a translator she placed on her wrist. You are human," she said, her voice filled with awe. "We have never seen your kind here. You are perfect." Jason's heart raced. Perfect? He didn't know what she meant, but he didn't like where this was going. The next few days were a blur. Lyra took him to their city, a sprawling metropolis made of silver towers and glowing bridges. Jason hoped they would help him contact Earth, but things took a strange turn. Everywhere he went, alien women watched him, fascinated by his every move. They began to compete for his attention, offering him gifts: alien jewelry, exotic food, even pieces of advanced technology. Some women followed him around the city, staring at him like he was a celebrity. Jason tried to focus on finding a way home, but the growing obsession of the Elorian women became harder to ignore. It wasn't just curiosity anymore, it was something more intense, almost dangerous. One night, Lyra confided in him. "The women here," she said, "are drawn to you. It's because of our biology. Human males. Your pheromones are intoxicating to us. Our species has never experienced anything like it before. You've become irresistible." Jason was stunned. He had no idea that just being human could cause such chaos on this alien world. But it wasn't just attraction. It was something far darker. The women of Eloria weren't just infatuated, they were obsessed. As time passed, Jason noticed that the obsession among the women was getting out of control. Fights broke out in the streets between rival groups, all vying for his attention. Some of them became more aggressive, following him wherever he went, pleading for him to choose them. But there was something even more troubling. The Queen of Eloria, Seraphine, had taken notice of Jason. Seraphine was powerful, ruthless, and used to getting whatever she wanted. And now she wanted him. One evening, Jason found himself summoned to the royal palace. Seraphine, surrounded by her royal guard, stood before him. She was beautiful, with long silver hair and glowing emerald eyes, but there was something terrifying about her presence. "You are the only one of your kind on this planet," Jason Miller, Seraphine said, her voice soft but commanding. "You belong to me now." No one else. Jason was trapped. The Queen's obsession was not something he could escape. She had the power to control everyone on the planet, and now she wanted him all to herself. Desperate to find a way out, Jason began secretly working with Lyra, who had become his closest ally. Together they discovered a shocking truth: Jason wasn't the first human to visit Eloria. Years ago, another human ship had landed, but the men aboard had mysteriously vanished. The deeper they dug, the darker the truth became. Jason learned that the Queen had used her influence to eliminate the other humans, driven by her obsessive desire to keep them for herself. She had kept their existence hidden from the rest of the planet, but now that Jason had arrived, history was repeating itself. But there was one more twist: Jason wasn't just a random human. He had been chosen for this mission for a reason. The government on Earth knew about the strange obsession the Elorian women had for human males, and they had sent him as bait. He was never meant to return home. Earth had been studying the Elorians from afar, hoping to exploit their weaknesses. Jason's heart sank. He had been betrayed by his own people, used as a pawn in a much larger game. Now, he was caught between two worlds: Earth, which saw him as expendable, and Aloria, where he was dangerously desired. With Lyra's help, Jason devised a plan to escape. They discovered an ancient spaceship hidden deep within the royal palace, a ship capable of returning him to Earth. But Seraphine wasn't going to let him go that easily. In a thrilling final confrontation, Jason faced off against the Queen. Seraphine, furious and desperate, used her power to try to keep him on Aloria, but Lyra sacrificed herself to save him. With a heavy heart, Jason boarded the ancient ship and blasted off, leaving the chaos of Aloria behind. As the ship ascended into the stars, Jason realized the cost of his survival. He had lost friends, had been betrayed by his own people, and had narrowly escaped becoming a prisoner of obsession. But now, as he gazed out at the vastness of space, he knew one thing for certain: he would never be the same again. And somewhere, deep in the galaxies, a planet still longed for him, the human who had stolen their hearts and left them forever changed. Back on Earth, Jason was hailed as a hero for surviving Aloria, but he knew the truth. His story wasn't over. Earth's leaders still had plans for the alien world, and they wanted Jason to help them exploit Aloria's obsession with human males. But Jason had other plans. He had tasted freedom, and now he wanted to help the Alorians break free from their dangerous desires. With Lyra's memory driving him forward, Jason set out on a new mission, one that would unite two worlds, not through obsession, but through understanding and peace. And so Jason Miller, the man who had once been lost among the stars, became something far greater: a bridge between two species, and a symbol of what it truly means to be human. Jason thought he had left the nightmare of Aloria behind, but as soon as he returned to Earth, the real nightmare began. The government welcomed him as a hero, but behind the smiles, Jason could sense something was off. It wasn't long before he learned the shocking truth: Earth had no intention of letting him go. They knew he had valuable knowledge about Aloria, and they planned to use it for all the wrong reasons. One night, Jason was approached by a high-ranking official, Commander Hale, who revealed the government's true plans. "We're going to send an entire fleet back to Aloria," Hale said. "This time it won't just be you. We'll take what we need. The Alorians won't even know what hit them." Jason's heart raced. They wanted to invade Aloria, strip it of its resources, and use the obsession the alien women had for human men to control the planet. It was horrifying. But the worst part, they expected Jason to lead the mission. Feeling betrayed, Jason refused. "You can't do this," he shouted. "Those people, those women, they're not just tools for you to exploit." Hale's eyes narrowed. "You don't have a choice, Jason. You belong to us now." Before Jason could react, he was arrested. The government had no intention of letting him walk free. They needed him alive, but they didn't care if he agreed to their plan or not. Locked away in a secret facility, Jason was trapped once again, this time by his own people. Just when Jason thought all hope was lost, something unexpected happened. Late one night, the door to his cell creaked open. A familiar figure stepped into the dim light. It was Lyra. Jason couldn't believe his eyes. "How are you here?" "I thought I survived," she whispered. "The Queen's guards tried to kill me, but I escaped. When I learned Earth had taken you, I knew I had to come for you." Lyra explained that she wasn't alone. A group of Alorian rebels had formed a resistance, tired of the Queen's obsessive rule. They had secretly followed Jason back to Earth and had been planning a rescue mission. "Come with us," Lyra urged. "We need your help to stop both Earth and the Queen. Together we can free Aloria and you." Jason didn't need to think twice. He had to stop Earth from destroying the planet, and Lyra's plan was his only chance. With Lyra's help, Jason escaped the facility. The Resistance had a hidden ship, one that could travel back to Aloria undetected. But when they arrived, things had changed. The planet was in chaos. The Queen, Seraphine, had learned about Earth's plans and was preparing for war. But she wasn't just protecting her planet, she was obsessed with keeping Jason for herself. She had declared herself his rightful owner, claiming that he was hers, and no one else could have him. Jason and Lyra found themselves caught in the middle of a planetary war. On one side, Earth's fleet was closing in, ready to invade. On the other, the Queen's forces were growing stronger by the day, driven by Seraphine's twisted obsession. Jason knew there was only one way to stop the madness. He had to confront Seraphine directly. He had to make her see that her obsession was destroying everything. Jason and Lyra infiltrated the Queen's palace, but what they found shocked them to the core. Hidden deep beneath the palace was a secret chamber, filled with ancient technology. And there, at the center of the chamber, was something that changed everything, a machine that controlled the minds of the Elorian women. Seraphine had been using this machine for centuries, manipulating her people's emotions, heightening their obsession with human males. The Queen had discovered that human pheromones triggered something in the Elorian biology, and she had amplified it. Jason wasn't just any human, he was the key to controlling the entire planet. "She's been using you," Lyra said, her voice shaking. "This whole time, she's been manipulating everyone, even me." Jason realized the full extent of the Queen's power. If Earth invaded, Seraphine would use the machine to enslave the entire human race, turning Earth's men into objects of obsession for Elorian women. But if he destroyed the machine, the Queen's rule would crumble and the Elorians would be free. With the clock ticking, Jason and Lyra made a plan. They had to destroy the machine before Earth's fleet arrived. But as they made their way through the palace, Seraphine appeared, more powerful than ever. "You can't stop this, Jason," she said, her voice cold. "I have waited too long for this moment. You are mine. You belong to Eloria." Jason stood his ground. "I'm not yours, Seraphine. I'm no one's possession." The Queen's face twisted with rage. She unleashed her full power, but Jason and Lyra fought back. In an epic showdown, Jason managed to reach the control panel of the machine. With one final, desperate move, he smashed the controls, sending the entire system into a meltdown. The machine exploded, sending shockwaves throughout the palace. Seraphine's control over her people vanished in an instant. The Elorian women, once obsessed, were free from the Queen's influence. The war was over. With Seraphine defeated and the machine destroyed, Eloria was finally free. Jason and Lyra stood together, watching as the people of Eloria began to rebuild their world, no longer under the Queen's obsessive rule. Earth, too, called off its invasion, realizing that Eloria was no longer a planet they could easily control. Jason had done the impossible. He had saved both worlds from destruction. But his journey wasn't over. Lyra, who had stood by his side through it all, had become more than just an ally. Together they had faced the darkest parts of their worlds, and now they were ready to start a new chapter, one where they could explore the stars, not as enemies, but as equals. As they prepared to leave Eloria behind, Jason turned to Lyra and smiled. "Ready for the next adventure?" Lyra smiled back. "With you?" "Always." And with that, they boarded their ship, leaving the chaos behind, ready to discover what other mysteries the universe had in store for them together. Jason and Lyra set off into the vastness of space, their hearts pounding with excitement and uncertainty. They had decided to explore the galaxy together, seeking new adventures and leaving the troubles of Eloria behind. But little did they know, their journey was just beginning. As they traveled, they stumbled upon a vibrant planet called Zoroth. The colors were dazzling purple skies, glowing trees, and rivers that sparkled like diamonds. It was a paradise, but something felt off. The inhabitants, a race called the Zorethians, seemed welcoming at first, but there was an underlying tension in the air. Jason and Lyra were invited to a festival celebrating peace and unity among the planets. The Zorethians were excited to meet a human, and soon Jason found himself the center of attention again. The Zorethian women were enchanted by him, much like the Elorians had been. However, unlike the Elorians, the Zorethians didn't seem to have a queen controlling them. They were free to choose who they admired. As the festival continued, Jason noticed something strange. The Zorethians had a peculiar custom where they would drink a sparkling nectar during the celebrations. It was said to enhance their emotions and bring them closer to their true selves. As the night wore on, many of the women became more infatuated with him, and Lyra felt a pang of jealousy. Seeing her discomfort, Jason assured her, "You're the only one I want to be with, Lyra. No one can change that." His words warmed her heart, but the atmosphere was still thick with unspoken tension. Later that evening, as they explored the festivities, Jason and Lyra overheard a secret conversation between two Zorethian leaders. They were plotting to use Jason's popularity to strengthen their influence over other planets. The leaders believed that if they could control Jason, they could control the hearts of the galaxy. Realizing the danger they were in, Jason and Lyra decided to confront the leaders. They learned that the nectar was not just a drink, it had the power to manipulate emotions and create intense bonds. The leaders planned to use the nectar on Jason to ensure he fell in love with a Zorathian woman, thus binding him to their planet and making him a puppet for their schemes. Determined to stop them, Jason and Lyra formulated a plan. They would attend the final event of the festival, where the leaders intended to unveil the nectar's true power. They needed to expose the leaders' intentions to the Zorathian people before it was too late. On the night of the big event, the grand hall was filled with lights and laughter, but a sense of unease hung in the air. Jason and Lyra took their positions, ready to speak out. When the leaders began to present the nectar, boasting about its abilities, Jason stepped forward. "Wait," he shouted, his voice echoing through the hall. "You're not being honest with your people. This nectar can control emotions, making people fall in love against their will. It's not a gift, it's a manipulation." Gasps filled the room. The leaders tried to dismiss Jason, but he continued. "I've seen the damage obsession can cause. It's not love if it's forced. You're trying to control me, and that's wrong." The crowd murmured in confusion, torn between loyalty to their leaders and the truth Jason was revealing. Lyra stepped up beside him, her voice strong and clear. "You deserve to choose who you love freely. Don't let anyone take that away from you in a shocking twist." The leaders turned on each other, realizing that their plans were crumbling. The Zorathians, empowered by Jason and Lyra's bravery, began to reject the nectar. They understood that true connection comes from genuine feelings, not forced emotion. As the festival came to an end, the people of Zoroth celebrated their newfound freedom. Jason and Lyra had not only saved themselves but also freed an entire planet from manipulation. They became heroes, not just for their bravery, but for reminding the Zorathians about the importance of love built on trust and choice. With their hearts lighter and their spirits soaring, Jason and Lyra left Zoroth behind, eager for their next adventure. They had formed a strong bond through every challenge they faced, and their connection grew deeper with each passing moment. But as they set their course for a distant star system, a mysterious ship appeared on the radar. It was sleek and black, with markings that seemed familiar. Jason's heart sank as he recognized the insignia. It belonged to Seraphine. "She's back," he whispered, a mix of fear and determination flooding through him. "We thought we had seen the last of her." Lyra clenched her fists, ready to fight. "We can't let her control us again. We've come too far to be afraid." As the black ship closed in, Jason and Lyra prepared for the unexpected. They wouldn't just be fighting for themselves this time, they were fighting for every planet they had visited and every person they had met. They were ready to face whatever Seraphine had planned, united in their mission to protect their newfound freedom. With their ship's engines roaring, Jason and Lyra engaged the black ship in a high-stakes battle among the stars. Explosions lit up the darkness, and the energy of their determination filled the air. They were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting for love and the right to be free. The battle raged on, but with their skills combined, Jason and Lyra quickly outmaneuvered Seraphine's forces. Just when it seemed like victory was within reach, Seraphine herself appeared, stepping onto the battlefield with a smirk. "Did you really think you could escape me?" she taunted. "You belong to me, Jason. I will not let you go." But Jason stood his ground, his resolve stronger than ever. "I'm not yours, Seraphine. I belong to no one but Lyra." With those words, he launched a daring attack, focusing all his energy on Seraphine's ship. The explosions were massive, and the force of it sent shockwaves through the galaxy. In that moment of chaos, Jason and Lyra found the strength they needed. Together, they harnessed their combined power, creating a blinding light that surrounded them. It surged forward, colliding with Seraphine's ship, and with a final explosion, they sent her spiraling into the void of space. As the dust settled, Jason and Lyra emerged victorious, the darkness of the past fading away. They looked at each other, breathless and alive, knowing they had fought not just for themselves but for a universe free from control and manipulation. The stars sparkled around them as they charted their course for new adventures, hand in hand, ready to explore whatever the universe had in store. They were not just survivors, they were champions of love, freedom, and the unbreakable bond they had forged in the face of danger. And so Jason and Lyra continued their journey through the stars, united in their quest to discover new worlds, face new challenges, and embrace the beautiful, unpredictable adventure that lay ahead together. Jason and Lyra floated in the peaceful silence of space, their ship cruising toward the next unknown destination. They had defeated Seraphine and left behind the chaos of obsession and control. Now, it was just the two of them, together. As they gazed out at the stars, Lyra smiled and squeezed Jason's hand. "No matter where we go or what we face, I know we'll be okay." Jason turned to her, his heart full. "We've been through so much, and we always come out stronger. As long as we're together, nothing can stop us." The stars twinkled around them, as if blessing their bond. They knew there would be more challenges ahead, more mysteries to solve, and more adventures waiting for them. But for now, they were content, side by side, ready to face whatever the universe threw their way. Together, they soared into the unknown, their love stronger than ever, ready to conquer the stars. The universe was vast, but with each other it felt like home.